What is up everyone, it is Sacred Saiyan here, welcoming you to the April Fool's special episode, What If Goku Was Born with Frieza's Potential. If you end up liking today's video, then please consider subscribing. It is free, and you can always unsubscribe later. There's a link in the description of the video to join my Discord server, and also to become a channel member if you want to support the channel. I have another channel where I post Star Wars What Ifs, and I posted the first video on my gaming channel as well, so if you want to check them out in the description of the video, then you can. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into the rebooted April Fool's episode of What If Goku Was Born with Frieza's Potential. Since potential doesn't translate to birth power level, Goku's birth power level will not change, which means he was still classed as a low class Saiyan, and his parents Bardock and Gine still send him to Earth in order to survive their planet's destruction. However, it is on Earth where Goku's insane potential changes everything. The last time I did this idea, at the beginning I heavily downplayed Goku's potential, saying that Goku doesn't do training anywhere near as intense as Frieza until the Saiyan Saga. But that really isn't true. Frieza's training consisted of repeatedly beating up Togoma, who at the beginning was only on the level of the likes of Zarbon and Dodoria, meaning he didn't push Frieza whatsoever. So perhaps you could say that at the beginning, Goku doesn't really train that much, which is how the Earth will survive Goku's first Uzari transformation, which kills Grandpa Gohan. However, after the actual events of Dragon Ball begin, everything changes. The Pilaf gang are just a minor inconvenience to Goku. Yamcha still joins the team after realising how outclassed he is, and so does Oolong. So the first quest for the Dragon Balls is fairly uninteresting. But there's a change in Goku's attitude, which is beginning to manifest. And this is seen more when Goku begins his training under Roshi. This training makes Goku not only extremely powerful, but also arrogant. Goku never learns the lesson from Roshi that there is always someone stronger than you, because nobody is stronger than Goku. Krillin begins training under Roshi, and even though in canon he was a rival to Goku, here, Goku does still become friends with Krillin, however he doesn't consider him as a rival in any capacity. And even though Krillin does challenge Goku to spar on multiple occasions, Goku never even attacks Krillin, only dodging him until he gets exhausted, because Goku believes that no matter how much he holds back, he still wouldn't be able to prevent himself from killing Krillin by attacking him. However, Krillin is actually lucky to have someone as strong as Goku to strive towards, as this actually drives Krillin to become stronger than canon, which will be seen later on. Mercenary Tao? Not a problem for Goku. He doesn't even begin to train under Korin because he doesn't need to. The Red Ribbon Army? A complete breeze. However, in Goku's attempt to not destroy the planet in his onslaught, he holds back enough to the point which allows Dr. Gero to still survive. We head to the World Martial Arts Tournament, where Goku faces off against Tien. Originally, Goku would lose this fight, further backing up Roshi's point that there is always someone stronger than you. However here, Goku wins this tournament with ease, which only increases his arrogance. But after this, Roshi had a discussion with Tien, which allows Tien to see the error in his ways, and helps him begin his path to becoming a better person. Krillin still goes back to the tournament area in order to get the Power Pole and 4-star Dragon Ball for Goku, and Tambourine still attempts to kill Krillin and steal the Dragon Ball. But since Krillin is stronger here, he actually kills Tambourine, before going back to Goku and Roshi and explaining what happened. Roshi then realises King Piccolo is alive, telling Goku that he is the only one who can defeat him, as King Piccolo is the strongest villain the Earth has ever seen. And Goku actually gets excited. Could this Piccolo guy actually be a challenge for him? Goku takes 4-star Dragon Ball, and he uses the Dragon Radar he got from Bulma to go to King Piccolo's location, as he already has all the other Dragon Balls. And once Goku arrives, he first kills all of King Piccolo's minions with ease, before challenging the Demon King himself. King Piccolo is terrified after witnessing Goku's power, and he decides to try bargain with Goku, saying that if Goku gives him the Dragon Ball and lets him wish for his youth, then he can give Goku a real challenge, because right now, he admits it would be a lackluster battle for Goku. Goku is conflicted. Even though he is arrogant, he still is a good guy, and he doesn't want King Piccolo to take over the Earth, but at the same time, Goku is so confident in his own abilities that he believes it won't even matter if he lets King Piccolo wish for his youth or not. So Goku says fine, throwing King Piccolo the 4-star Dragon Ball, and Piccolo then wishes for his youth, but as he fires a mouth blast to kill Shenron after, Goku appears in the way, smacking the blast away, before glaring at Piccolo, and saying that before he kills Piccolo, he wants to give him a bit of advice. King Piccolo looks worried, asking what the advice is, and then Goku appears in front of King Piccolo, punching a hole through his chest, and then saying that he should have wished for immortality, because that is the only way someone as weak as him could have survived their fight. Piccolo then spits out an egg before dying, and Goku then flies back to his friends and tells them the good news. And sometime later, Kami would telepathically summon Goku to come to the lookout. Goku having no clue who this person is, however being his easily trusting self, he will decide to accept this request, so he begins to fly to the lookout on his flying Nimbus. Remember, Goku here may be arrogant because he has never lost a battle, but other than that, his personality is pretty much the same. He's still a lovable idiot who sees the good in everyone, and is very trusting. That's why he let King Piccolo spit out the egg to begin with. Well, also because he thought he may have a good challenge in the future, but that is a lesser reason. Goku would arrive on the lookout, and as Goku's power is completely absurd to Kami, he thinks himself lucky that Goku uses his power for good and not for evil. Kami would then ask if Goku would like to train under him and Mr. Popo, and Goku, hearing the prospect that he could get even stronger, happily agrees, so Goku trains on the lookout until the World Martial Arts Tournament where Piccolo Jr. makes his debut. Before the tournament commences, Goku would catch up with all of his friends, Bulma commenting on Goku's good looks, and Goku being completely oblivious. After the tournament commences, Goku gets through the tournament with complete ease, and once he gets to the final round and sees Piccolo Jr., Goku is impressed at how much stronger Piccolo got than his father. He even tells Piccolo this, but he then goes on to say that it still doesn't change the fact that he is no match for him. Piccolo says that they'll see about that, Piccolo then removing his weighted clothing and cracking his neck. Goku asking if that's supposed to impress him, and Piccolo just doesn't respond and gets in his fighting stance. Goku knows he can't kill Piccolo or else Kami will die too, so he gets in his fighting stance as well, and holds back as much as he can. Goku then telling Piccolo to give him his best shot, and Piccolo rushes towards Goku, with speed that nobody other than Goku can track. Piccolo attempting to land a strike on Goku's face, however Goku dodges out of the way, and lands a punch on Piccolo's stomach, blowing the wind out of him and sending him into the sky, before Goku then appears above Piccolo and kicks him into the ground. The fight has only just begun, and Piccolo is already heavily damaged and laying on the ground, defeated. Goku outstretches his hand for Piccolo to grab it, but Piccolo smacks his hand away, and Kami walks up to the pair in his disguise, and he says that he will now seal Piccolo, but Goku says that won't be necessary. He has a feeling Piccolo isn't going to just randomly kill people like his father. He can become a good person, and even though he still isn't anything compared to himself, he is still the second strongest fighter on the earth, so he could help protect it. Kami reluctantly says fine, so they let Piccolo go, as he swears that he will win their next battle, and he begins to train even more intensely than before. But after Piccolo leaves, Goku still marries Chi-Chi, and Goku is actually alright with taking a bit of a break from training, to start his own family, as he knows that there is no threat he can't handle already. So from then on, the Earth is at peace. Goku and Chi-Chi live on Mount Paozu, and Chi-Chi gives birth to their first child, which they name Gohan, and Goku, Chi-Chi, and Gohan have a nice family life. Well, that's until Raditz shows up, but we're going to end off this part here. This video begins with the arrival of Raditz on Earth. After Raditz mollywops a farmer with a shotgun, Raditz then uses a scouter to try and detect his brother's power level, and he then detects a staggering power level of over 9,000. Raditz is immediately shocked, flying towards the power level, and he arrives at Kame House, as he meets his brother Kakarot and begins to explain to him who he is. Goku here actually does believe Raditz, thinking that must be why he is so much stronger than everyone else on Earth. But then, Goku senses Raditz's energy and realizes that isn't the reason for his own overwhelming power. Goku asks Raditz what he actually wants, and Raditz says that he wants his brother to join him along with the two other surviving Saiyans in order for them to all work together to take down the tyrant Frieza. And even though Goku does find the prospect of fighting this Frieza guy interesting, he still wants to use his power to protect the Earth's people, so he refuses Raditz's offer. But then, Raditz tells his brother that he doesn't have a choice. He may be stronger than himself, but Vegeta is twice as strong as Kakarot. If Kakarot doesn't join them willingly, the other Saiyans will come here and make him. Goku smiles, saying he's looking forward to it, as he rapidly increases his ki, and because of how fast his power level is rising, Raditz's scouter breaks, and Raditz is terrified, apologizing to Goku and saying that he will help his brother as long as he spares his life. Goku says that he doesn't really need Raditz's help, but as long as Raditz doesn't hurt anyone while he stays on Earth, he won't kill him. They are brothers after all. Raditz says that Vegeta and Nappa will most likely arrive in a year's time, thinking that himself is dead and coming to recruit Kakarot. And then, either Cell will destroy the planet, so they have a year to prepare. And even though Goku doesn't actually need that time to prepare, Goku decides he will train both Raditz and his son Gohan. Piccolo is even listening to this conversation from afar, and decides that if the planet might be at risk, then he should make a temporary alliance with Goku and train with him, since if the planet could be destroyed, then there will be nothing for him to rule. So with Piccolo also joining them all to train, we now have a 1-year time skip. All the humans decided to train on Kami's lookout, while Goku trained Gohan, Raditz, and Piccolo. Gohan, with his even more insane potential than canon, far surpasses Piccolo and Raditz. And Piccolo and Raditz become each other's rivals, with the pair of them both having massive power levels of over 100,000 each. As you can see, training with Goku is very beneficial. The humans on Kami's lookout gain the same amount of strength as they did in canon, and with everyone's training complete, this is where Nappa and Vegeta arrive. Nappa and Vegeta's space pods land in the city, the two Saiyan warriors exiting their space pods, and Nappa flips 2 of his fingers up, and with this alone, the entire city is destroyed. Vegeta and Nappa then use their 2 scouters, detecting multiple power levels of 5,000 and 10,000. The 2 Saiyans being shocked, as there are multiple people of those power levels, but they head off in that direction anyway, arriving in a wasteland where they come face to face with Goku, Gohan, Raditz, Piccolo, Tien, Krillin, Yamcha, and Chaozu. Nappa plants a Cybermen to take on the humans, and Nappa then shouts that Raditz is a traitor and will be dealt with as such. They already killed a city of humans, and Raditz is as insignificant as those they have already killed on this planet. Goku steps forward, saying that anyone they have killed can be brought back with the Dragon Balls. Unfortunately, they won't get the same luxury after he has wiped the floor with them. Nappa gets enraged that a low-class Saiyan is speaking to him in this way, and Nappa rushes straight towards Goku. But as Nappa is about to punch Goku in the jaw, Raditz appears in front of Goku, catching Nappa's punch before punching Nappa in the stomach, and then kicking him back. Raditz slightly boosted his power level to 10,000 just to dominate Nappa, and Raditz then says that right now, he's only using a tenth of his power. Vegeta begins to laugh. Nappa really got surpassed by a runt like Raditz, and as far as the nonsense Raditz is currently spouting, even if it were to be true, it wouldn't change the outcome of their fight. Raditz begins smirking, saying he will show the prince that it isn't some nonsense, and Raditz begins to power up, and Vegeta and Nappa both have shocked expressions on their faces, as Raditz's power level keeps rising and rising, until their scouters eventually break. Nappa worryingly says that their scouters must have just been malfunctioning. Right, Vegeta? Vegeta the drop of sweat rolling down his face, saying of course that's it. However, to prove it doesn't even matter, Vegeta shouts for Nappa to create a fake moon. Nappa doing so, and Vegeta and Nappa become great apes. But Raditz can't help but laugh, asking if his former companions completely forgot he also has a tail. Raditz is about to look at the fake moon, but Goku puts his hand in front of Raditz's eyes, telling Raditz that he will take things from here. Raditz needs to make sure Gohan doesn't look at the fake moon, because if he does, he will be out of control, and then the Earth will most certainly be destroyed before Goku would be able to subdue him. Raditz is fine, standing with Gohan and covering Gohan's eyes while looking at the ground, and Goku cracks his neck, thinking to himself that he's glad Raditz brought that excuse, because in reality, he just really wanted to stretch his muscles a bit. Goku flies up into the air, staring the 2 giant Uzarus down, and both Nappa and Vegeta fire mouth beams at Goku. Goku outstretching both of his arms, and the beams hit Goku's hands, literally doing 0 damage. Goku then appears behind Nappa, creating a blade of ki around his hand, which he uses to cut off Nappa's tail, thinking that Nappa wouldn't even be fun to toy with. And Nappa is then reverted to his base form, where Piccolo is waiting, and with a single chop to his neck, Nappa is knocked out. Vegeta is confused, panicking as this shouldn't be possible. Vegeta is an elite, the Saiyan Prince, but this guy is effortlessly stronger than him, and he hasn't even got a tail. There's only one thing Vegeta can think of. This guy, Raditz's brother, he has to be the Super Saiyan. It seems like they were right to try to recruit him. He may be the only Saiyan who can actually defeat Frieza. Goku begins to yawn, asking if Vegeta can get back to fighting him now. He's getting bored. Vegeta knows he doesn't really have a choice right now, so he relents, and the giant Uzaru attempts to punch Goku, but Goku stops the punch with a single finger, before Goku then slaps Vegeta's fist up, before dashing towards Vegeta, and punching him in the face. The Great Ape being knocked back, but before Vegeta hits the ground, Goku blitzes Vegeta, and cuts off his tail as well. Vegeta reverts to his base form, laying on the ground, and Raditz then kicks Vegeta in the face, knocking him out. Raditz and Piccolo both wanted to kill Vegeta and Nappa, but Goku told them to keep them alive. He wants more information about that Frieza guy, and Raditz admits that they know a bit more about Frieza than him, as Raditz used to be too scared to even be in the presence of Frieza most of the time. Some time passes, and Vegeta and Nappa both wake up in hospital beds, where they are so injured that they can barely move. Goku is standing in front of them, alongside Raditz and Piccolo, and Goku gives Vegeta and Nappa one offer. They can both join him and his friends, and they will all defeat Frieza together, or Vegeta and Nappa will die, and him and his friends will still go and defeat Frieza. Goku would prefer they join him, since they could make finding Frieza easier, but either way, the end result will be the same. Nappa shouts that they would never take orders from a low-class Saiyan like him, but Vegeta shouts for Nappa to shut up. Does he not see? This is no ordinary Saiyan. There's only one explanation for the kind of power he has, and that explanation is that he is the Saiyan of legend, the legendary Super Saiyan. Goku's ears perk up, thinking that maybe that's why he is so much stronger than everyone else. But little does Goku know, he most certainly isn't the legendary Super Saiyan. That title belongs to another Saiyan. Goku asks Vegeta what his final decision is, and Vegeta reluctantly says fine. They'll join Goku, but only because they want to take down Frieza. Goku says that's great. Once Vegeta and Nappa are healed up, they'll all make their plan to find Frieza and kill him. In the meantime, he'll continue training. He'll continue training Raditz, Piccolo and Gohan. Goku and Piccolo then walk out of the room, and Raditz stands there for a moment, glaring at Vegeta and Nappa, before then following behind his brother and Piccolo. Nappa being extremely angry that he's being forced to take orders from Raditz's brother, but Vegeta just lays there, silent and in deep thought. But this is where we're going to end off this part. This video begins after Nappa and Vegeta have recovered, and are now out of the hospital. The plan to hunt Frieza then being created. The first part of the plan is to have Bulma and her father create a ship, which allows the gravity inside of it to be changed. And the second part of the plan is for the Dragon Balls to be gathered, and then they will ask Shenron where Frieza is. And then, the final part of the plan is to use this ship to go to Frieza's location, training along the way, and then they will fight Frieza and his forces, and bring an end to Frieza's tyranny. It's a very simple, but effective plan, and with the plan now being made, they put it into motion. While Bulma and her father begin construction of the spacecraft, Goku uses the Dragon Radar to locate all the Dragon Balls, and flies to them, collecting all the Dragon Balls, and summoning Shenron. Piccolo and Raditz cover Vegeta and Nappa's mouths, in order to make sure they don't betray them and steal the wish for themselves. Goku asks Shenron where Frieza's current location is, and Shenron says that he is on planet Namek, before disappearing, and Goku then looks to Vegeta, seeing he has a worried expression on his face, and Goku tells Raditz and Piccolo to stop covering their mouths, before asking Vegeta why he looks so concerned. Vegeta says that there were rumours of a magical set of wish-granting orbs on Namek, but they were assumed to be fake. However, after Frieza hearing of those exact same things on Earth through their scouters, and them actually being functional, he must have went to Namek in order to use their Dragon Balls, and get his own wish. Goku isn't worried, saying that just means they have to get to Namek before he makes that wish, and luckily, the ship is finished being made, so they can start to head there right now. So now, the group of Goku, Gohan, Raditz, Piccolo, Nappa, and Vegeta all head to Namek in the gravity ship. Goku and Gohan don't really feel the change in gravity, because of how exponentially stronger they are compared to everyone else. But for everyone else, the shift in gravity makes very beneficial training, especially since Goku is there training them for the entire time. By the time they arrive on Namek, Piccolo and Raditz are at power levels of 10 million each, while Vegeta is at a power level of 9.5 million, and Nappa is at a power level of 6 million. So as you can tell, everyone is very strong right now. The group exit the ship, touching the surface of Namek, and Goku then senses around the planet, finding the strongest energy he can sense, and the group head over to it, coming across Frieza, Zarbon, and Dodoria, who just finished decimating a Namekian village. Zarbon and Dodoria laugh at the sight of Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, saying that they dared betray Lord Frieza to join a group of weaklings? How foolish. Zarbon and Dodoria then attempt to read the group's power levels, but their scouters quickly explode, and then Vegeta and Nappa appear in front of Zarbon and Dodoria, consecutively punching holes through their chests, and laughing before obliterating them with ki blasts. Frieza chuckles, saying that he would love to toy around with them, but he has no time for these games. So Frieza exits his hovering chair, and in an instant, he goes into his final form. He wants to get this over with quickly, and with there being so many enemies, he doesn't want to take any chances. Goku knows Frieza wouldn't be a challenge for himself or Gohan, so he wants to let the others test out their new abilities on him. So Goku decides that him and Gohan will go gather the remaining Dragon Balls, while the rest of the group take on Frieza, and they all happily agree, other than Frieza himself, who says he won't let them go anywhere, and shoots a death beam at Goku, but Goku slaps it away, glaring at Frieza before him and Gohan fly off. Frieza is furious, but recomposes himself, thinking that he'll just kill that monkey after he has taken care of the trash here. And with that, the battle finally begins. Vegeta and Nappa are the first to rush at Frieza, Frieza dodging all of their punches, before Frieza grabs Vegeta's arm with his tail and throws him into Nappa. Piccolo and Raditz then firing their respective beam attacks at Frieza, which Frieza avoids, and then shoots a flurry of death beams at Piccolo and Raditz, with Piccolo putting his arm in the way of all the beams, which greatly damages Piccolo's arm, but Piccolo then just rips his arm off and grows back a new one. Piccolo then stretches his arm in the direction of Frieza, Raditz running up Piccolo's arm, while Vegeta distracts Frieza with a flurry of ki blasts, and Nappa creates a fake moon. Nappa and Vegeta may no longer have their tails, but Raditz does. So after Raditz reaches the end of Piccolo's arm and jumps above Frieza, Raditz then looks at the fake moon, becoming an Oozaru with a power level of 100 million. And Raditz then lands on Frieza, slamming him into the ground and crushing Frieza under his boot. The fight is seemingly over, the group celebrating, as that was surprisingly quick. But then Raditz feels something moving under his foot. Raditz is then thrown into the sky and falls to the ground a small distance away. And in the location Raditz was just standing, Frieza is seen, in his 100% power, scuffed up and bloodied, but also enraged, and now boasting a power level of 120 million, surpassing even Raditz in grey tape. Everyone there feels completely outclassed. Raditz is now the only person who's even in the same league as Frieza, but Frieza still greatly overpowers Raditz, and Frieza isn't going to let Raditz live after what he just did to him. Frieza quickly flies over to Raditz, Raditz getting up and punching Frieza, Frieza being pushed back, but then flying towards Raditz once again, avoiding another punch from Raditz, and then flying behind the giant Oozaru, cutting Raditz's tail off with a ki attack, but as Raditz is beginning to revert to his base form, he fires a full power mouth beam at Frieza, which hits him dead on, and greatly injures the Emperor, while Raditz is now back in his base form. Everyone now rushes at the injured Frieza in unison, Frieza still having the power to greatly damage everyone present, and the only one left standing is Piccolo, due to his insane regeneration. Frieza decides to finally deal with this pest, lifting Piccolo into the air with telekinesis, and everyone watches as Frieza makes Piccolo explode into nothingness, right in front of them. Frieza then thinks it's time to kill Raditz next, but when Frieza turns to Raditz, he's standing there, staring at the ground and clenching his fists. Raditz and Piccolo grew very close ever since they started their training together. Piccolo was like another brother to Raditz. The entire planet begins to shake as thunder strikes around Raditz. Raditz then looking up and letting out a ferocious roar as his eyes turn blue and his hair turns golden. Vegeta and Nappa both looking shocked, but slightly smiling. Frieza isn't dealing with the average Saiyan warrior anymore. He now has to fight the Super Saiyan. Frieza has a terrified expression on his face, and he should. Not only does Raditz now have a power level 50 times stronger than moments ago, but Frieza is also greatly injured and drained due to his 100% form, so he isn't boasting his full power. Raditz has had enough of just standing around, and he dashes at Frieza, punching Frieza in the face, which pushes Frieza back, but Raditz catches Frieza's tail before he can go too far, and he then slams Frieza into the ground repeatedly. Raditz then throws Frieza into the sky, firing a super double Sunday, and Frieza screams as he is hit by the beam, and completely erased off the face of the planet. Raditz gives a sigh of relief, as he then reverts to his base form, laying on the ground, completely out of energy, and fading in and out of consciousness. Raditz apologizes out loud to Piccolo for not saving him, wishing he unlocked his power sooner, but Raditz is then completely shocked, as he hears Piccolo's voice, telling him to man up, and Raditz's vision then clears, as he sees Piccolo standing over him. Raditz is confused, grabbing Piccolo's outstretched hand and lifting himself up, and he then sees Goku and Gohan giving Vegeta and Nappa senzu beans. Raditz gets it now. Goku and Gohan must have used the Dragon Balls to revive him, and Piccolo says that's exactly right. Not only that, but they revived all the other Namekians Frieza and his forces killed. Piccolo then gives Raditz a senzu bean, who eats it, and then the pair then walk over to the rest of the group. Raditz, Vegeta and Nappa all now having massive Zenkai boosts, and Goku congratulates them all on defeating Frieza. Goku especially congratulating Raditz on that cool new power of his. Raditz thanking his brother, but saying it still doesn't let him hold a candle to him. And Goku says that may be so, but who knows how strong Raditz will be able to become with that form. Raditz smiles, and Goku then says that there is also someone he wants to meet them all, the group looking confused, as Goku and Gohan lead them to the Grand Elder Guru, who thanks them all for saving his planet, and in return, he unlocks the entire group's potential. The only person refusing this is Goku, as he doesn't feel like he needs it, and he also wants to see if Gohan could actually catch up to him now, with his potential being unlocked. However, Guru has one more thing for one of them, that person being Piccolo. Piccolo looking confused, and the Grand Elder then says that he's about to pass on to Otherworld, but he doesn't want that to be where his journey ends. He tells Piccolo to put his hand on his chest, Piccolo doing so, and the Grand Elder then says he will fuse himself into Piccolo, giving Piccolo all his knowledge, and also greatly increasing Piccolo's power. Piccolo thinks for a moment, and then says that he will accept this great honour. And so, the Grand Elder fuses with Piccolo, and now, everyone in the group got massive boosts in power, well other than Goku obviously. With Namek being saved, the group now all return to Earth in the gravity ship, training for the entire way back. And with this, I'm going to end off this part. This video begins once the group arrives back on Earth after the defeat of Frieza. The group exit their ship and see a purple-haired man waiting for them as they do. The purple-haired man would then ask to speak to Goku in private, and Goku is confused but agrees, walking a short distance away with the man, and they finally introduce himself as Trunks. They have come from the future, and he has come back to the past in order to save it. Trunks explains that in a few years, 2 androids will come, and all the Z fighters will die. The only one surviving being Raditz, who trains himself, but he died in a battle against the androids around a year ago his time. Goku says that it's impossible that the android could kill himself, but Trunks says that Goku actually dies a few months before they arrive, due to a heart virus, so that theory could have never been tested. Goku then says that surely they couldn't have beaten Gohan either. What happened to him? And Trunks says that a short time after Goku died, Gohan accidentally transformed into a great ape because he saw a full moon, and Gohan went on a rampage, nearly destroying the Earth himself, and he would have if not for the Dragon Balls being used, to wish him to be transported to Namek since it has no moon. Nobody was strong enough to cut off Gohan's tail, and nobody could push back Gohan after Goku died, so for the safety of the entire planet, Gohan had to stay on Namek, and Chi-Chi decided to go there to stay with her son. Bulma already thought of the idea of trying to travel to Namek in order to bring Gohan to kill the androids, but they have no contact with Namek anymore, and they don't have a lot of resources, so if the androids saw they were creating a ship and then destroyed it, they wouldn't have enough resources to do any backup plan. Goku damns the world. The thing that takes him out is a stupid heart virus. He feels so pathetic. Trunks says that is actually why he is here, outstretching his hand with medicine for the heart virus, and telling Goku to take this, and he will survive. Goku thanks Trunks, and Trunks then leaves, saying he will return once the androids show up, to see if everything goes well. And after this, Goku goes over to the others, and with the help of Piccolo who overheard everything, they explain the threat of the androids. So now, everyone trains for the androids. Vegeta and Nappa go off and train, while everyone else trains together. During this training period, Goku realises that Gohan is rapidly catching up to himself in terms of power, and even though he is happy someone can finally push him, he also realises the issue of Gohan turning into a great ape, and him not being strong enough to stop it, which is why with the help of Raditz, Goku works on becoming a Super Saiyan, and he's able to do it surprisingly quickly. It seemingly comes naturally to Goku, and with this, he knows he can start Gohan's next step in his training. He wants to train Gohan to control the Great Ape form. This means that no matter how powerful Gohan gets, he won't go on a rampage. So for the remaining time in the training period, Goku and Gohan work to control Gohan's Great Ape form, with Raditz creating fake means for Gohan to use, and Goku staying in Super Saiyan the whole time. And just before the training period ends, Gohan is able to control Great Ape. Now the time skip has ended, we head to the city where the androids were meant to arrive. The group encountering Gero and Android 19 like in canon, but Gero is shocked to see Goku still alive. He had drones following Goku until Namek. They detected he had a heart virus which should have killed Goku months ago. Goku smiles, saying they took care of that issue. And because of Goku having an extra person with him, he was reminded to take the medicine, so Goku is perfectly healthy. Gero then looks shocked, as Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta all transform into Super Saiyans, and Gero realizes that he needs to escape. But before he gets a chance, Goku fires a ki blast at him, which destroys him instantly, and the 3 Super Saiyans jump Android 19 and destroy him as well. The group wrongfully believe these were the 2 androids Trunks was referring to, and because of this, Gero's lab is never uncovered, and Imperfect Cell slowly makes his way to the lab in order to absorb the inactive Android 17 and 18. Trunks eventually arrives, seeing the destroyed bodies of Android 19 and Dr. Gero, and saying that these weren't the androids he was on about. Perhaps him travelling back in time changed the timeline, but surely not like this. The group then sense an insane power emerge from a mountain range in the distance, even Goku having a shocked expression on his face, and he looks to the rest of the group, sternly telling them to go to Kami's lookout now, and train in the time chamber. None of them knowing what the time chamber is, but Goku says that Kami will explain it to them once they get there, but they need to go now. Gohan looks worried, saying "Dad?" But Goku cuts him off by transforming into a Super Saiyan, and instantly flying off into the direction of the insane power. The insane power having another monstrous increase before Goku even arrives. And once he does, he comes face to face with Perfect Cell, outside of Dr. Gero's lab. Cell introduces himself, saying how nice it is to finally meet Son Goku, the only being in the universe he respects. Goku then says that Cell can respectfully leave the planet then, and never return, but Cell laughs, saying they both know that isn't going to happen. He will leave this planet, but after he has destroyed the only threat to his power. Goku smirks, thinking to himself that if only Cell knew. But Goku says if that's the case, then they might as well get started. It's a good thing he mastered Super Saiyan while training Gohan, or he wouldn't have stood a chance. Cell agrees, as the two get into their fighting stances, and then their intense battle begins. Goku and Cell's fight being very similar to their battle in canon. However, this time, it isn't a tournament, and Cell has nobody else he wants to fight, so Goku isn't going to quit, and Cell doesn't want to kill Goku so quickly, since he knows he will never get a challenge like this again. An entire day passes. Yes, they've been fighting for an entire day, and Goku and Cell are exhausted. Cell not as much, but still a bit exhausted, while Goku on the other hand is extremely so. Not only that, but Goku is brutally bloodied and beaten, on death's door, while Cell, thanks to his regeneration, is perfectly fine. Cell commends Goku, saying that this has been fun. However, Goku is no longer entertaining for him. He is about to die anyway, so he'll put him out of his misery and make his death faster. Goku falls to his knees, actually smiling. So this is what death feels like, Goku thinks to himself. It's a very refreshing feeling. Cell bids Goku farewell, firing a death beam towards Goku's head to finish him off once and for all. But the beam is then smacked away by a mastered Super Saiyan Gohan who has just arrived. In Goku's final moments, he gets to witness his son demolishing Cell, and Goku then dies in peace, getting to see his son surpass him, and knowing the Earth will be safe. After Gohan kills Cell, he goes over to his father's body, crying as he lets out a roar of pure pain and agony, transforming into a Super Saiyan 2 for the first time, and then flying to the lookout, carrying his father's dead body, and they try to use the Dragon Balls to revive everyone killed by Cell, since he did absorb some humans before getting to the androids, who are revived, and even the androids themselves are revived. They then all hear Goku's voice as he says hi to all his friends. He's going to stay in Otherworld, at least for a while. He met this guy called King Kai, who he's going to train with, and he is sure he'll find a bunch of other strong guys he can learn from as well. Also, he feels like he's only brought trouble to the Earth, and now Gohan has full control over his power. He isn't needed to keep him in check, and the Earth will be forever safe as long as Gohan is there protecting it. Goku then says goodbye to everyone, and even though they are upset, they understand Goku's decision, and everyone who hasn't been in the time chamber yet decide they are still going to do so, because it will be very beneficial for them. And with this, all the Saiyans master Super Saiyan. And now Trunks is confident he can defeat the androids in his time. He says goodbye to everyone as well, as he returns to his own timeline. And as for the androids in this timeline, Gohan went back to Dr. Gero's lab, seeing the androids were still there, and telling them that they will be allowed to live and do as they please. But if they so much as hurt a single human, he will hunt them down and kill them. The androids can't sense power levels, but Gohan's aura alone scares the androids into submission, and they agree. So with that, the android threat is over. We now have 7 years before the Buu Saga. Gohan trains to combine Uzaru and Super Saiyan, and he does this in the time chamber, in order to not destroy the Earth if he loses control. And eventually, he's able to perfectly control Golden Great Ape, and even unlock something new. Besides this, Gohan still goes to school and becomes a Great Saiyaman, but Gohan also balances his school life with training, as he knows if a threat like Cell came about again, literally nobody else would stand a chance other than himself. Meanwhile, Chi-Chi gives birth to Goten, Raditz and Piccolo become roommates in a home in the forest near Mount Paozu, and spar with each other. Raditz even achieving Super Saiyan 2 during this time, while Piccolo's base form just grows stronger. And Vegeta continues his training, while raising Trunks. And Nappa really doesn't know what to do. He trains with Vegeta from time to time, but other than that, he doesn't really have anything to do. So he decides to take a gravity ship into space, and explore the galaxy to find purpose. And during all of this, Goku is in Otherworld. After he finished learning all of King Kai's techniques, he explored Heaven, learning a bunch of new techniques, and achieving Super Saiyan 3, even being able to combine it with the Kaioken. And with all of this, we are going to end off this part. This video begins in the Buu Saga. Goku still decides to come back to Earth for a day to compete in the World Martial Arts Tournament, and with that, most things remain the same, other than Raditz replacing Android 18 in the tournament. Since with 18 not meeting Krillin, she is living a completely different life. And the first difference we see is with the battle between Goten and Trunks. Goten here has insanely higher potential than canon like Gohan. And not only that, since Gohan has kept up with his training, Goten actually got to train with Gohan. And not only that, but he got to train with Raditz and Piccolo as well, since they live close by. So with a higher potential and more training, Goten effortlessly beats Trunks. The relationship between Goten and Trunks being reversed in this scenario, where Goten is the top dog, and Trunks thinks he is the cool one. Other than that, things continue similar to normal, with Raditz giving up against Mr. Satan, since he knows he'll lose to his brother or Gohan later in the tournament anyway, so he might as well get some money for it. We now head to when Gohan faces off against Kibito. Gohan just remains in his base form and flares his aura slightly, which grabs the attention of Spopovich and Yamu even more than in canon, so they jump Gohan. But even with the Supreme Kai trying to restrict Gohan, Gohan effortlessly breaks out of the Supreme Kai's magic and dodges Spopovich and Yamu, then punching them both in the guts, before slamming them into the ground. Gohan is about to knock the pair out, but Piccolo telepathically tells Gohan to let them run away, so Gohan doesn't do anything, as the two fly off. And after they do, the Supreme Kai explains the situation to Gohan, and the Dragon Team head off after the pale-skinned minions of Bobbidi. After this, things remain fairly similar, until we head through Bobbidi's ship. All the enemies are easily wiped out, and when we come to Gohan fighting against Dabura, this Gohan is easily leagues above Dabura in terms of power, and defeats him with complete ease. But in this timeline, Dabura wasn't Bobbidi's strongest minion. After the defeat of Dabura, the Dragon Team are ready to push forward and kill Bobbidi. But then, another warrior appears ahead of them, that warrior being Nappa, with a Martian mark on his head. On Bobbidi and Dabura's way to Earth, they came across Nappa on his travels, and due to Nappa still having evil in his heart, he was able to be manipulated by Bobbidi. And now, he is going to be forced to face off against his former allies. Vegeta decides he will be the one to put Nappa in his place, transforming into Super Saiyan 2, and Nappa does the same. And after a short scuffle, Vegeta proves he is still on top by defeating his former subordinate. And since not enough energy was gathered, Buu is never revived, and Bobbidi is killed, freeing Nappa of his mind control, and Nappa reluctantly apologizes for his actions, and decides that this time, he will stay on Earth. So with this, the Buu Saga comes to a swift end, with Shin and the revived Kibito heading back to the world of the Kais, and since the tournament couldn't continue, due to so many fighters leaving it, Goku spends a day with his family and friends, and at the very end of his time on Earth, he has a battle with Gohan. Gohan showcasing Super Saiyan 4, and Goku using Super Saiyan 3 Kaioken times 100. And with Goku being able to train 24/7 for 7 years straight with full energy, he is able to defeat his son, before Barba takes him back to Otherworld. And now, we have a time skip to Battle of Gods. Battle of Gods begins in the same way, with Beerus waking up, and we showing Beerus as Saiyan who defeated Frieza, and how their brother is currently dead, but training on King Kai's planet. And since this intrigues Beerus, he heads to King Kai's world to meet Goku, and Goku challenges Beerus to fight, with Beerus accepting, and Goku decides to remain in his base form during the entire thing. Beerus says that it would be wise for Goku to not underestimate him, but Goku simply smirks, saying he isn't, And then, the battle between the otherworldly Saiyan and God of Destruction commences. See now, this is where you guys will truly understand how broken a Goku training his entire life with Frieza's potential is. Let alone 7 years of that life, he was able to train 24/7 without losing energy. Goku in base form alone is currently throwing hands with Beerus. Not like one-shotting him or anything, but you know, Beerus isn't having a good time. Beerus thought Goku was underestimating him by staying in his base form, but nah, Goku just didn't want to kill him. So after the two insanely powerful beings fight for some time, Goku eventually wins their battle without the need to transform. And after this, Beerus offers for Goku to come and train on his world under himself and Whis, and become the next God of Destruction. Since his world isn't in the mortal realm, he can do that. And since this Goku is a completely different mindset to the canon one, and this Goku really feels like he got all the training he could out of Otherworld, he accepts this offer. So now, Goku goes to Beerus' world to begin its training to become the next God of Destruction. And on Earth, Bulma's birthday party is peaceful, and nobody in the universe is aware of what just transpired. You may think that they would have felt the tremors of the battle, but Whis created a barrier around King Kai's world, which the tremors could not escape. With this, we now head into Resurrection Earth. King Cold finally locates Earth, but since he knows he can't handle the Super Saiyans, he decides he will bring his son back, so they can fight them together. And since his power would easily be detected if he went to Earth himself, he has his men do the job for him. So after Frieza is revived, he is taken to King Cold, where Frieza tells his father that no matter how much he hates the idea, they need to train. But since the Dragon Team didn't technically defeat Majin Buu, Frieza would be less wary of the Dragon Team, especially considering one of the Saiyans is apparently already dead. However, just to be safe, they still train for 4 months. But once Frieza and King Cold arrive on Earth, Frieza showing off his brand new golden form, Gohan simply defeats the pair in his base with ease, while the rest of the Dragon Team defeat all of Frieza's soldiers, and that is another arc brush through, where it was way easier than canon. The Tournament of Destroyers arc wouldn't happen, since Goku doesn't really care about a tournament, since he knows he wouldn't get a challenge anyway. And without the tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7 happening, Zamasu never enacts a Zero Mortal plan, meaning the future timeline remains intact. This also is another major change. With no Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament, Goku never meets Zeno, and Zeno never gets the idea for the Tournament of Power. So if Zeno decides to not erase all of the universes, Goku is eventually revived with Whis' staff, and becomes the new God of Destruction, having complete mastery over Ultra Ego, and being in a permanent state of it. And now Goku is finally alive again. The first thing he does is visit the Earth, seeing his friends and family, and how they have all grown and changed. Goku and Gohan even have another spar, where with Goku's 24/7 godly training, due to Goku still having a dead body with infinite stamina up until this point, his base form alone far surpasses Gohan even in Super Saiyan 4. So even though Gohan had far more potential than Goku, Goku was still able to remain ahead. And after their friendly spar is over, Gohan introduces Goku to his daughter Pan, and Goku apologizes for missing so much of their lives, especially Goten, who has had to live his entire life without really knowing him. But he is so glad he got to see all of his friends and family again. Unfortunately, he can't stay, since he does have duties now as the God of Destruction. However, he will definitely visit a lot. And with that, we are going to end off this part. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then make sure to like, comment, and please do subscribe. It is quick and easy to do. Also, I want to give a huge thank you to All Might, Mega Exo, Boldemir Garcia, Camo Ren, and Jonathan Way for becoming channel members. If you want to be shouted out at the end of the video, and get other perks like the channel members here, then there's a link in the description down below to become a channel member. It greatly supports me and helps me immensely. With all of that out of the way, comment down below what series you would like to see me do next, and yeah, goodbye guys.